Yeah, on this, can we go back to the Koch curve?
Sure.
Could you throw that back up?
Yeah.
I think one of the many wonderful things in the dissertation, one of the ideas really worth reflecting on is the idea we've been already reflecting on. We live in timelessness, and then sorry. John, did you object to that? I'm actually in the middle of this. We're in timelessness, and then the collapse of the wave function is the generation of time. And so that's your basic model. But in particular, what you bring out in dissertation is that the quality of our subjectivity, of our own consciousness, determines, in a sense, the quality of the time that we generate.
Yes. Well said.
Well, I'm repeating what you said.
Oh.
So
well, I don't know about that. But I'll take it.
But here would be I wanted to see you just think about this on your feet. So if you look at the first Koch curve, and the second and the third, just do those three right there.
Okay.
Or in fact, just do the first two. All right. And using Vroebel's idea of time markers as a way of talking about the collapse of the wave function, how would you say the bottom model is an adequate way of describing the subjectivity of an industrial person walking into a forest? And then the next one up would be a more accurate way of describing, say, someone like you walking into a forest.
Okay. Because if the industrial person walks into a forest, then they might not have much prior relationship with a forest. And so their levels of description, their their memories of being in forest before, their, the ways they've thought about their relationship with the forest may be completely non-existent. And so it would be at a lower level of description than somebody like me who has a more intimate relationship with forests.
How does that relate to the collapse of the wave function?
Oh, to the collapse of the wave function. Okay, right. And so like the frequency, okay. So an industrial person might be operating on a frequency like this. They've got their cell phones, they've got their emails, they're, go. They're watching commercials, they're listening to the radio, they're, continual stimulus, continually collapsing that wave function over and over and over again. They're not existing in the timelessness of the superposition as one might in meditation when you're stepping outside of time for a minute to rest your brain and to rest your body. And so a forest is operating on a completely different time scale where there's not much collapse. There might seasonal collapse when leaves change color and fall from the trees. This is much broader time scales, much greater frequencies than our industrial world. And so somebody's ability to synchronize their internal frequencies with the frequency of the industrial world on one hand, that's where they're going to feel comfortable. If they're able to synchronize their internal frequencies with the frequencies of the forest and step out, instead of condensing, if they're able to maintain that superposition for a length of time closer to that of the forest, then their experience of the forest is going to be entirely different than somebody who's operating at a level that the forest does not operate at, and so they have no common basis for interaction.
Right. Can you connect this to Whitehead's notion of negative prehension?
Okay, so, yes. So negative prehension. So Whitehead talks about concrescence. So things coming to be in a moment. And they draw on a number of different things in order to inform how they concress or how they come to be. One would be positive prehension, so things that we are aware of, that we intend or attend to in the world, that we're conscious of. Negative prehension, on the other hand, is something that we are unconscious of. So it's the aspects, so if I'm collapsing this whole moment right here into my memory of it, you know, the conscious parts of that memory are going to be there, but the unconscious parts are going to be there also. Whether or not I can access them is questionable. But in the same way, somebody can be hypnotized to remember things that they can't remember with their conscious brain, but that can be externally verified. You know, the memories are stored in there. And so I would align the negative prehension with the unconscious with the entirety, so all of those infinitely many possible paths that is the wave function is the unconscious, what the unconscious records, and is what the negative prehensions are. It's the that sensing of the larger reality without necessarily having the details of it.
That's great. That's great.
Good questions. Thank you.
That's yes. Well, yeah.
So how would you? Yeah, I'm